All right, I'm here with wrestling indie sensation Matthew Riddle, or should I say Matt Riddle?
Either or works.
Okay, how you feeling? It's Tier 1 Wrestling here tonight. Brooklyn, New York. We're in a Catholic church hall here. We're doing the after show, so anybody who hears noise in the background, please forgive us. We're just trying to head out, and I had to get Matt because I've known him for about a year almost with LCW / Keystone.
Yep, with Keystone Wrestling, and yeah, I think we talked to Danny Cage at the factory about coming up there and
That's
stuff.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
He gives a lot of good advice on social media, him and Brutal Bob Evans, who I was with on Friday and you were with on Saturday.
Yep.
Did you get your Hangs with Bob picture?
I did. I hung with Bob, got that pic, got a hung with Delirious pic.
Really?
Yeah, I got a pic with Delirious. That's a rare thing, I believe. So.
What does that mean? The hang with Delirious?
I don't know. I just made that up because you said hang with Brutal Bob. I don't know what that means. Does he take pictures with people and stuff?
I never got close to Delirious to take a picture, but hang with Bob. What he did was he take pictures with it and he hashtagged it. Hangs with Bob, so that's why I asked you about it.
Gotcha. I don't know if I made that list. I did take a picture with him though.
Well, you know, if you took a picture with Bob, you got a Hangs with Bob pic. All you gotta do is put it on social media and hashtag it.
Just hashtag it. I'm still getting used to the hashtags.
Yeah, I try to do the most common ones. You know, you got people that do run-on sentences, like, you know. But not to be off or anything, but I like this Altered Beast hat, this throwback from Sega. What was it, 1989, 90?
It was a long time ago. It was that arcade classic turned Sega classic on the Genesis, and it's one of my favorite games growing up. I play a lot of games still.
I do too.
And then, have a GameStop reward points. I bought so many games. The hat was on there, so I got the hat.
Okay, well, now, I mean, I kind of broke away from playing console games because I joked people who got mobile games, you know, like, pick up a console. Now, I got like 4 or 5 Marvel games on my Samsung and just keep playing them on the road all the time. And one thing I told you and David about that drove me insane as of this day in July, that everybody's playing Pokemon Go. Like, it's the big thing in social media. You turn on Facebook and you got like 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 friends playing Pokemon Go, and it's like crack.
It's huge right now, and the thing is, when I was a kid, it was huge with kids, but these are grown-ups, like driving their cars playing Pokemon Go. People are getting in accidents. I think a guy walked into a police station to get like Charizard or something.
He did?
I believe so, and the police had to stop him because that's where he was located. But, I don't know, I was more of a Dragonball Z guy growing up.
Oh, man.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Vegeta, Goku, the whole 9 yards. Piccolo.
Well, I hate to stab you in the chest with this, but what do you think about that Evolution movie that came out years ago when they were in the school or something?
Not so much.
That never happened, right?
Yeah, I don't. That's not the Dragon Ball Z I know and love.
Okay, well, I know you as a wrestler, but I didn't know you as a MMA star. I mean, can you tell me about your experiences doing UFC and mixed martial arts? How did you get into that?
I was big into pro wrestling growing up as a kid, but of course, as a kid, you can't do pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was in school, so I started amateur wrestling like a lot of pro wrestlers do. Got pretty good at it. Won states and nationals. Went to college, wrestled there. Pretty good there. Then, started doing jiu-jitsu and MMA. And tried out for the Ultimate Fighter, got on, and I was 21 when I got in the UFC, and I was fired when I was 27, so I had a 6-year career in the UFC, and made a lot of money, had multiple Fight of the Nights, Submission of the Nights, and made a bunch of money. Then due to politics, I was released, just a difference in opinion of medicine and stuff.
Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I was fired for medical marijuana. I had a medical marijuana license. At the time in the UFC, they would allow fighters to use TRT and HGH and Oxycontin and Vicodin, as long as you had a doctor's note. But I had medical marijuana, and I had a doctor's note, but medical marijuana is considered a performance-enhancing drug. Well, Oxycontin, Vicodin, Ritalin, Adderall, HGH, TRT aren't. These are prescribed by your physician.
How is honestly to me, how is marijuana a performance-enhancing drug. 'Cause
You know-
I did in college, and I never felt empowered to at least beat on somebody like very fiercely like they do in Ultimate Fighting.
I've been smoking and using cannabis for quite a while, and I've never used cannabis and been like, it's time to beat somebody up. It usually relaxes me, chills me out, and for MMA, definitely not a performance-enhancing drug. For an eating contest, definitely a performance-enhancing drug.
Well, we are in New York, and they had the Coney Island hot dog eating contest. Maybe
See,
they test
should
them for marijuana
they should, like, for him,
sometimes.
they don't need to test him for steroids, just test him for marijuana.
Yeah.
And that's a PED in that contest.
Well, I'm a supporter of hemp, but I'm honestly, I'm gonna be open. I'm a supporter of it, but I just don't like marijuana to the point where there are guys who are putting chemicals in it, and you smoke it, and you find out there's like clowns in the room, and you freak out, and then I would actually do it, except for that THC part, which like gets a lot of people fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
I don't get that part. In the state of Maryland where I live, they just have a 10 grams law. Like if you get caught, they take it from you, give you a fine and whatnot. They don't arrest you like they do anymore. But I want hemp in my clothes. I would like to do that. I learned from RVD, who in a way you remind me of him.
Me and RVD, the first time we ever met was at the Playboy Mansion at a legalized weed party. we met in the grotto. We were in the grotto. I was smoking. He was smoking. I saw him. I'm like, oh, Van Dam,
Yeah.
I'm all excited. I watch pro wrestling, and he goes, Matt fucking Riddle. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
man.
I'm like, you know who I am because I watched The Ultimate Fighter, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hit it off, had a great time, and yeah, me and Rob are both on the same page when it comes to hemp and cannabis.
Okay, because I never met him yet, though, and then I just found out recently that he had broke up with his wife, which is weird. And he's dating somebody I know by the name of Katie Ford, TMZ snitch, as they called it. But anyway, I'm an herbal guy. Like, whenever I get sick, I want some herbs to heal me. I don't like pills. I never like pills. They're killing our society, and I see it all the time. And
Couldn't agree with you more.
you got
That's
people
why.
that can come in your house and raid your medicine cabinet and get like messed up on Tylenol. And I agree with it. I mean, you're not harming anybody. I mean, I guess like when you're wrestling, you can't have that because you can foul up some moves.
Yeah, well, I can see in the sense it's not a performance-enhancing drug, but it can harm others in your occupational situation, be it professional wrestling or MMA. And maybe I'm not putting them in more danger, but I'm putting myself in more danger because I'm not reacting as fast.
Yeah, and I noticed I'm gonna shift it a little bit. I noticed over the year that I've known you, that you're getting a lot of steam. Maybe it's me. I was thinking it was the UFC background that you had, and people just said he's a name, and you got into Evolve, and then now, the dirt sheets are saying WWE's looking at Matt Riddle, which to me they look at everybody, whoever gets a little steam on them.
They're looking at anybody that gets a head to turn, So
And plus, we know that Evolve got a little small tie to WWE.
They do for sure.
Hence that tournament that's coming up.
The CWC, the Cruiserweight Classic, yeah. Plus, I've been in the ring with William Regal multiple times and cut promos on him.
And that's where I caught you.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of William Regal, technical. I love all that stuff, man. Another thing I wanted to ask you is that you have an unorthodox kind of attire, or the lack thereof, that you wrestle just like Kevin Von Erich, like in plain feet.
Yep.
And I never understand how like, we both wear sandals all the time in California type thing, and I never understood it because I'm afraid I would break a toe or get stomped on or not.
You know what it is for me? Just doing jiu-jitsu and fighting for so long, and you have to do it barefoot. You can't wear knee pads or anything. You have to be barefoot, just shorts. And I was just so used to no harnesses, no braces, no shoes, no nothing, that, it's just like part of me. Like, I don't like wearing knee pads. I feel like it's just extra. Like, I don't need it.
You don't get burns on your knees or anything?
Nope. When I first started wrestling, not pro, but when I wrestled in high school and college, I did. But after probably a couple months, your knees get conditioned.
Okay.
Like, I don't even have hair on my knees. Like, the rest of my legs are covered in hair, but my knees are bald.
Okay, because sometimes, when I see like a wrestler a wrestler that doesn't wear knee pads, I find it unorthodox. Like, except for back in the day, like in the 50s or whatever. So, I mean, Evolve, like, you still do work with them, like you do a lot of events with them.
Yes, I work every time they have a show. I'm working for them, and every time, same thing with Beyond Wrestling. Every time Beyond has a show, I'm working for them. You know, those are the two shows I'm guaranteed you'll see me on every time they're on.
You know my friend Dari, don't you? From Square Circle Cafe. She frequents Beyond Wrestling. She lives in Massachusetts.
I think I might.
I mean, if I shoot you a picture of her on her profile, she's Latino, got glasses. You know, she's thick.
Does she have a nose piercing, a hoop in the nostril?
I don't know. I met her in
glasses.
Yes,
that's her. I know who you're
I met her in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island.
Because she's at all the shows, right?
Yeah. She's at most of them. I've been wanting to go.
The last show I pushed her out of the way. I was like, "Let me in the ring."
Oh,
and
yeah.
Some guy was like, "Don't push her." And I was
I'm sorry,
like,
we're getting interrupted by Rude Boy Riley.
Yeah, that's his name.
Who's going to be a future guest on ShiLounge one day? Because we're both straight edge. Quite honestly, he has more tattoos than I. But so in wrestling, Beyond and Evolve is your top.
Those are my top places right now. But I actually got hit up quite recently, and I'm wrestling in the 2016 Bola tournament.
Wait a minute, I forgot Monster Factory.
Yeah,
the real life heels.
I do that as well. I've wrestled the Monster. I wrestle all over the place. Those are just the two places I've been wrestling consistently for like the last probably 8 months.
Okay.
Like I'm guaranteed if Evolve has a show, I'll be on it. If Beyond has a show, I'll be on it.
Okay, and Monster Factory is just in and out.
Yeah, Monster Factory, I'm on their shows that they don't conflict with the Evolve or Beyond show.
Okay, because I like all of you guys. Punisher Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
And was it Punisher Martinez, QT Marshall,
Yep.
the three of you? I thought it was more, maybe.
You're just that good. No,
I know Beyond. I know Beyond is probably like one more or something. One of the guys in the main event tonight, or at least I just saw a picture where he was posing with you.
I don't know.
But anyway, like I said, I enjoy your work. You're very laid back. You're very chill. I mean, it's very surprising. I never hear anything like you just never get angry. Like, you know, just play at it. I mean, what's your secret besides marijuana?
You know, it's just you can't really let things get to you. Because once you let things get to you, it kind of starts eating at you, and like you can never kind of recover 100% from it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like let things just roll off me, you know, and. For the most part, it works out. When it comes to like life situations, like the crowd, stuff like this, it's perfect. With, you know, closer relationships, you got to kind of care a little bit more, you know, and you got to put a little more emotion in that. Okay. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, you got to take it how it is, you know. You can't look too far into it.
Well, because, you know, like if they, you know, cough, one day WWE picks you up and you be on the road and, you know, sometimes their TV shows are so intricate where you got to be at a certain spot at a certain time, and I know that's going to be stressed a little bit for you. Yeah. But I get it too. I'm a Zen student. You know, people see me Shin-Blade and they wonder why I'm so chill. I mean, I'm a Scorpio too, so I can get a little angry. But with you, I think we're kind of like both kindred spirits a little bit. So, but like I said, with your MMA, like how does that transition being in the ring?
Honestly, it was probably one of the easiest transitions because, like I said, I got into all this stuff because I loved pro wrestling. So in the back of my head, I was always like, even though I was sparring people, fighting for real, I would still like fight with some of the other guys, you know, that weren't maybe on my level. And I've always been playing with it. The only thing I really didn't work on was selling, you know? Mm-hmm. So when I first got into pro wrestling, that was the most difficult thing for me. I didn't sell, you know? Because in a fight, you get punched in the face, you don't show anything, you know? Because if you smile, they're like, oh, I hurt you, and they're going to come at you. So it's like, you just don't do anything, you're like, nothing happened, you know? While wrestling, they don't touch you, and you got to act like somebody hit you with a baseball bat. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So that took probably like 3 months to get used to, really get used to. And I still think I still have a ton of work to do with it. But it's gotten a lot better.
You're actually humble enough to just actually see that. And, you know, with all the esteem that you have behind your back and people looking at you and booking you everywhere, United States, Mexico, sometimes Europe, UK.
Canada, United States right now.
Maybe Japan in the future.
Probably Japan. I'm hoping so. I think with my background and with my credentials, I think it's a matter of time.
Okay. Well, let me ask you these two questions. It's the same question, but in different fields. In the UFC, what was your best achievement?
I think my best achievement would be the submission of the night I had at UFC 149 because I made like $150,000 that night. So that's one hell of an achievement.
So it wasn't the artistic form like you made some guy.
Oh, it was pretty artistic. You know, I cracked a guy with a left hand. He went for a spinning back fist. I hit an arm triangle and choked him out.
Okay.
So it was still artistic, you know, and I had a lot of fun too. It was a good night. Good night.
What about in wrestling? Like, you know, your biggest achievement to this day, like the greatest thing that you ever done?
Greatest thing I've ever done in professional wrestling so far, I would have to say it wouldn't be one thing. It would have to be a compilation of everything I've done this year to get to where I am. At the beginning of this year, when I started with Evolve and stuff, my goal by the end of the year was to get to PWG, get to AAW, get to AIW, get to Beyond, get to all these shows I knew were big, and if I got on, you know, like C4 Wrestling and Smash Wrestling, get over into Europe, I knew I needed to get all this, and I'm gonna get to do all this in this year. You know,
yeah.
I got to PWG. You know, I've been wrestling at the Factor. I've been wrestling at Beyond. You know, I get to have great matches with Tommaso Ciampa. I'm wrestling Roderick Strong next weekend, you know.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it. I know it's going to be snug as hell and it's going to be aggressive. I'm excited for that. And it's just like, I don't know, it's like, I've been given a lot of great opportunities, and people always, when I say that, they're like, I don't think you were given them, you earned them with your, you know, background and this and that. But in my head, it's pro wrestling. Anybody can be given any opportunity at any time because it's professional wrestling. And I've been lucky enough to be handed that opportunity and get to run with it and see where I go with it. And fortunately for me, I've been able to hold the ball and not drop it.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people who are actually birthed with it and handed to them, and they just crap all over with it. Yeah. It takes a lot of work in wrestling. I mean, I see these matches, I see people taking down the ring as we do now. And it's just a lot of work, and even as a podcaster, and I train myself just to feel and sympathize, and just in case somebody asks me to get in the ring one day and do a match, you know, take an occasional bump. I'm not afraid to do that as long as I come out healthy. Yeah. And come out fine. I can do it. You know, as long as I don't David Arquette either and win a world title on my only night. I mean, I know he regrets it a little bit, and a lot of people.
Yeah, it wasn't his call.
No, it wasn't.
That's the booker.
But before I get out of here, do you have any advice for like people who just aspire to be wrestlers or MMA fighters?
Well, MMA fighters are a little different. You got to be an MMA fighter. You know you can be an MMA fighter. You got to be wired a little differently. You got to be able to like flip that switch and get real really quick while still keeping your cool because you got to stay focused. And then, what was the other question? Did you say something about pro wrestling too?
I asked you about pro wrestling, and you said it was a lot of things, and you know, I have a certain wrestler taping us during the interview, so I would love to.
Definitely distracted.
I would love to get that video and put it on my page and Instagram and everything, and I'll talk to him later. You know, he'd probably be my next interview. Time for biz, you know, to play some clothes on me. So anyway, give everybody your
advice about professional wrestling.
Yes.
The advice I'd give is just be yourself. Don't try to be some crazy character that's stupid. Don't be some Viking. Don't be some lone wolf. You know, be yourself. It's 2016. It's the real world. Everybody knows what we're doing. And you know what they want to see? They want to see real. They want to see a guy talk shit for real. They want to see a guy maybe get the match a little real from time to time. That's what they want. So my only advice is just be yourself. And I know a lot of people say turn it up to 100 or 1,000, whatever. Take that advice as you want, but just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Take bits and pieces from people, but be yourself.
All right. Well, also, Matt, give us your social media where people can find you on the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Twitter. So, you know, like Chris Jericho,
Yeah.
the Twitter.
The Matthew Riddle on Facebook. If you look me up, you'll see me. I'm pretty jacked with a belt. On Twitter, it's RiddleTough7, and then on Instagram, I think it's RiddleJB7.
Okay,
The
well,
Jawbreaker.
well, thank you very much, Matt. It's
Thanks
been a
for having
pleasure.
me, dude.
I'd like to have you on in the future.
course.
We could shoot about anything and get the video game. So,
I love it.
like I said, thank you very much.
Sounds good, dude. Thank you for having me.
All right.